Yo, what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
I'm here. I'm doing good.
Hey, all you vipers out in the world, hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. And Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal. We're going to smoke. This week, we're actually smoking Chimera. Last week, we smoked Chimera times lemon, lime, something. But this week, we're smoking straight Chimera grown by our friend Ignius. Ignius, thank you, brother. We've been smoking this since I saw you on Saturday, and this is one fantastic strain. I'll read it to you all again. Chimera is an evenly balanced hybrid strain, 50-50, created through crossing the classic white truffle with the creature strains, named for its gorgeous appearance. Two-faced high, Chimera is the perfect balanced hybrid to help you enjoy the early afternoon energy and peace. The bud has eye-catching, dense, sharp, dark olive green nugs with surprisingly bright undertones, thin, furry orange hairs, and frosty coating of sparkling, chunky, golden white crystal trichomes. As you break apart each glittering, colorful little nugget, you'll experience aromas of fresh, flowery lavender accent by sweet apricots and hint of woody pine. The flavor is even sweeter with a fresh, fruity apricot taste, accented by hints of flowery lavender tea. The Chimera high will settle in quickly in the mind while creeping slowly into the body. You'll find your mental state boosted, filled with the bright sense of energy that has you feeling super euphoric and creatively inspired. A slowly building tingly body high comes next, creeping in and leaving you eventually feeling totally relaxed from head to toe. With these effects, it's insanely, the average of this is anywhere between 27 to 30%. THC level, Chimera is often suggested to treat chronic stress, anxiety, chronic fatigue, depression, mood swings, nausea, and chronic pain. The effects: body high, creative, euphoria, relaxing, tingly, uplifting. Relief symptoms of anxiety, chronic pain, depression, fatigue, nausea, and stress. Apricot, the flavors are apricot, citrus, fruity, sour, sweet, tree fruit, woody. Aromas are apricot, citrus, earthly, flowery, lavender, sour, and sweet. And I will tell you this. When you open up that jar, whew, boy, oh boy,
Smelly.
The smells that you get coming from this bud is absolutely fantastic. It lit up my nose, and I smell the lavender a little bit. I smell the sweetness. I don't know if I smell the apricot, but there is a smell in there that it's just so like nose, just it's on the tip of your nose when you smell it. I mean, I opened the jar today for tea. The tech came by. And I opened up the jar. He's like, good lordy.
And I could pick up on the woody kind of, nature's, my taste buds and smell are just terrible. What I'm interested in seeing is, there's always outtakes to a show, right? We don't have any outtakes, but we record and we send it out to the world. There's not much editing in terms of like cutting out things we say or do.
No, we don't.
It's pretty much
unless you called me by my real name.
Yeah,
and you haven't done that in a long time, and we don't cut that out anymore. So that's really about it.
Yeah. So before the show, we usually kind of talk about the show and what we're going to be doing, and we kind of brief each other. We've got our articles. We're ready to go. We've done our work leading up to the show. But then there's always like a little banter conversation. And today's banter conversation got a little heavy. So we were both sniffling and wiping back tears before we clicked go.
Yes.
So I'm interested. I'm in a lot of pain today. I feel like poop. And then we just had some things that we were talking about that were heavy. And so I'm very interested in seeing how adjusted I get because I need it. So do you, Mr. Weedman.
Yeah, we had a little tear session, a little Mr. and Mrs. Weedman cry session because there's some things that happened today. A family member passed away today. You might have heard of him. His name is George Wendt, Norm from Cheers, and he's a brother-in-law, let's just say. And Mrs. Weedman used to cut his hair back in the day when he would come into town, and we've gotten to know him quite well. And he passed away today. And the one thing I'll always remember about him, I'll tell a story. I used to work for a brewery called Lagunitas Brewing Company. And my manager used to refer to being that guy at the bar, Norm from Cheers. And when I was getting interviewed, I started laughing. He goes, "What are you laughing about?" I said, "Well, kind of funny. Norm from Cheers happens to be my brother-in-law." And he's like, "No way."
Kind of,
yeah. And he's like, "No way. I'm like, "Okay, he's my brother-in-law, and one day you'll hopefully get to meet him." So basically, we did a national sales meeting, and
this was a C-suite person that you're talking about.
Yeah, my boss, my manager, and he was the VP of sales. And so we had a national sales meeting in Chicago, and I had found out that George was going to be in town. And
I remember this.
I invited him to our national sales meeting to meet us at Kingston Mines,
which is a Chicago, hardcore Chicago staple, live music all the time.
And so I invited him as a surprise to my VP of sales. Also, the owner of the brewery, his name was Tony McGee, and they had ironically had met through a publisher of a book. And George had wrote a book about drinking beer. And Tony McGee had his book that he wrote. And so when it was funny, we all, and George was a big gentleman. And it took like four of us to make a wall. So our Tony McGee and our VP of sales, Greg, didn't see him. And all of a sudden I walk up in front. I said, "Hey, I have somebody here that's interested in being a loginator." And they look at me like, "Now? At the middle of Kingston Mines? Now?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And we all moved, we parted the wall. And all of a sudden there's George went, Norm from Cheers, and both of them's jaws dropped to the floor. And it was amazing. It was
Did the bartender say, "Norm"?
No. But here, there's more to this. This is the best part of the story, though. So they spoke for a little bit, signed each other's books. My VP of sales was in awe, sitting next to George the whole time, got an autograph, and was just like in heaven. And so we all go outside to go partake and to go light a joint up. And so back then, this is 2014, where weed wasn't fully legal yet in Illinois. You could smoke.
It was medical, wasn't it?
It wasn't. It was not quite medical yet. And we all went outside off to the side, and you people smoked outside of bars, but you kind of hid a little bit. We all got in a circle, and I led George out, and Tony McGee had his oney and was packing oneys for everybody and passing around. It went around like 3 times. That's how many times Tony packed that. Well, it was probably like 8 of us out there. So 8 times going around. All of a sudden, George takes the last hit of the oney, and all of a sudden looks at me and raises his eyes like he's going back inside the bar. So George leaves, and we're all out there just bullshitting for a minute. And then Tony McGee's searching his pockets, looking for the one hitter. And he's looking around. He's like, "Anybody fucking have my one hitter?" And we're all looking at like, "Nope." He goes, "Fucking hey, I think fucking Norm from Cheers stole my fucking one hitter." And that story went on for years.
That's cute.
Of Tony and Greg both telling that story that Norm from Cheers stole my one hitter. I think it went out again. Sorry,
Come on, you're talking too much.
Talking too much. Unbelievable. That is a true story. I will tell you this. He was a good man. A lot of fun to be around. Loved his food. Loved his beer. He was very big in craft beer, and he was also a very big weed advocate and spoke very highly about weed. And I remember at a wedding one time at the bar, I smoked a oney with him at the bar. So he was a big weed head, and it was great. He loved craft beer, he loved food, and he loved weed. And he was a phenomenal actor too. Second City, right? He was in Second City. Which
is another Chicago institution.
Yeah, I'll let Mrs. Weedman tell a little bit more.
I don't have a ton of backstory to offer. Just he was a big Second City person.
I have a story to tell.
I know. And when he would come in town, I would give him haircuts, and then we'd talk about how, if he was going to do this play, I think he did hairspray.
Yep.
And so he's like, "Oh, you can come out. You could be my hairstylist out there." But when our kids were little, it's like, how am I going to do that?
He liked when you did his hair.
So it was just a good guy. The whole family, great people, and it's just a sad. It's a loss.
Can I tell the last story?
Sure, Mr. Weedman.
This story is too good, too good. So Mrs. Weedman was doing a fundraiser, and
oh gosh, you're going to tell this story? Okay, so, I'll let you.
All right. So Mrs. Weedman was doing a fundraiser, and it needed something for a donation. So we were at Target, I believe, and the big skit at SNL back in the 80s and or 90s was Da Bears. Yeah, Da Bears. And they would go on Saturday Night Live and do the skit. Da Bears, you eat chicken wings and hot dogs. And they have the Deves, Dems, and Don't Chicago twang talk. And it was 4 guys. And George would come on periodically, but it was mostly Chris Farley and 2 other people. And then when George was on SNL, he would do the Da Bears. And so Mrs. Weedman found a shirt that said Da Bears on it. Now, hold on. There was a picture of someone's face on there,
like a graphic design type illustration.
Yes.
Not detailed. Outlines of faces, mustaches. Because
it was just one though.
Yeah,
one. And Mrs. Weedman thought it was George Wendt's face. And so we get to the house, and George is there, and she brings the T-shirt out, and she goes, "Hey George, we're doing a fundraiser here, and I thought it'd be really funny that you
sign in our backyard."
No, I think it was at your sister's backyard.
Really?
I think it was at over on Washington.
Oh my gosh!
And I said, and you said, "Hey, I really could you sign this T-shirt for me as for the fundraiser so we can raise money? It's a raffle." And you go show him the shirt, and it says the Bears, and he looks at the picture on the shirt, the face, the portrait on the face, and he goes, "That's not me. That's Chris Farley."
I melted. I wish he signed it that way. That's not me. It's Chris Farley. Signed George Wendt.
Oh my God, I'm dying right now. Oh, I gotta take a breath.
Oh my God, why didn't you prevent that from happening? Did I not show you it?
I think you showed me when we got there, and I really wasn't paying attention.
Right. You're like, yeah,
and then all of a sudden I'm standing there, I'm like, and I just literally left you hanging. I literally just walked away.
Well, that's what I get for approaching him to do something like that. At a family
whoever
party.
has that shirt,
that was a jerk move.
Whoever has
Where is that shirt?
It was a raffled.
Oh, so he did sign it.
He did sign it.
Yeah, that's right. It was at the high school.
Yes.
It was a boosters
so
raffle.
if you have this shirt that you
won
in the raffle, I don't know. Would you remember what it was? Was it for football? Was it for?
It was, I think, sports for the boosters.
For the boosters. Okay, so if you bought that, if you won that shirt in the raffle, it has Chris Farley's picture on it, the portrait,
signed in a black
Sharpie. George Wendt.
And it's an Old Navy T-shirt.
Yes, that says Da Bears on it. You're the lucky winner.
You got the shirt. And now the story that goes with it.
Now the story is real. Oh, George, God rest your soul. Rest in power. Rest in peace, my friend. Hopefully you're having a great craft beer, a big fucking barbecue because you loved barbecue, and a big fat doink on the side, brother, because you were fun to be around. It was cool to hang out with you and get to know you. Man, hopefully we'll see you again one day, my friend.
That's right. Yeah.
Commercial.
8 decades.
8decades.com. Make sure you check out 8 decades. I was going to cry. For
so you just need to take a break.
I took a breath. Sorry, everybody. 8decades.com. Check out Mrs. Weedman's baby, 8decades.com. For all your cannabis needs and all your accessories and clothing line from 8 Decades and Weedman 420, check out our great smoke set, our grinders, our steamroller, our jars, the best. They keep that smell and that bud fresh. And on the clothing line, check it all out. Stickers, pins, whatever you need, we got you. $100, get your free shipping. Check out 8decades.com. Crazy week.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah. Chicago had lots of activity.
This is crazy. Crazy. I was in the house. I was outside with Yuki. I just got home from work. It was like around 5 o'clock, maybe like 5:30. The winds picked up. Like you wouldn't even believe. I'm like, we weren't supposed to get a thunderstorm or tornadoes today.
Right.
And I was like, what is going on right now? All of a sudden I thought was clouds. And you're in the city, so I'm south of you at this point. I'm at our house. You're downtown at a graduation thing. And all of a sudden, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? It looked like the nothing coming from the never-ending story. I was like, Yuki, let's get inside for a second here. This ain't right. We get inside, and I'm sitting down in a chair looking out the front window, and I'm like, this ain't fucking rain. Also, I'm like, it's like, are we in like when the remember when the plains, they had like the dry, like 10 years of like no rain. It was like just a dust. It was a dust bowl.
Yeah, dust bowl.
And that's what it looked like. And the wind was blowing so hard. I really thought the tree was going to come down this time. The wind was blowing so hard. I was like, what the hell is going on here? And it was just like dust blowing all over the place, like dirt. And I was like,
and this is after having 2 very recent like microburst kind of tornado things where we had like damage to our house.
Yeah,
like back-to-back months.
Right.
And then now there's this crazy dust bowl coming into a major city. We're like, oh, wait, what?
Right.
Like all of the phone alarms going off. Everybody's.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Everybody kind of looking around like, are we supposed
all of a sudden,
what do we do?
This dust bowl comes over the house and starts heading towards the city. Now you're driving home.
Yeah.
Tell your side of what you saw.
Yeah. So
we were crazy.
We were in the city. We were in a high-rise building, and there was lots of activity. Like everyone's alarms went off, and then everybody kind of stopped and was like, "Is that a building alarm?" And I was like, "Oh wait, everybody's phones." So then everyone's reading their phones, and then kind of like, "Well, now what?" And it said like, "Be safe." Stay alive. And we're like, stay alive? Like, what the fuck is happening? And then you're like watching in like the northern part of the city, like from kind of, you could watch the Sears Tower because you could see it from where we're at really well. So, or the Willis Tower, as some might call it, not me. So the Sears Tower is kind of disappearing. And then, and it's kind of like this big like face of a storm just kind of rolling into the city, making all of the buildings like become invisible.
Right.
But then down below, this was like a college graduation ceremony. So down below on the street, they're having like this street party for the graduates. It wasn't the graduation ceremony. It was like an open house for all the seniors it's an art school, so they could display all of their projects, year-end projects. And so there's, fashion show going on, and there's a stage, and there's music, and everyone's still doing their thing.
Right.
Like our phones are all going off. The sky is looking weird. Really weird. And there's wind, but like nothing is blowing. So like you think dust bowl, there's going to be wind, like things are going to get crazy. And we kept walking over to the window, and then finally it was like, I guess it's really kind of time to leave because it was starting to get like eerie in the city. So we all get in our cars, and I'm driving south.
Into the nothing.
Well, I wasn't driving into the nothing, but every time I looked in my rearview mirror, the city became the nothing. Literally, just by the time we were, 5 miles onto the highway, there was no city.
Right.
It was just this crazy orangey, greeny, gray cloud. Ooh, it was really weird. It was really weird.
It was crazy. We had a dust bowl here.
But then there was like
Chicago.
no dust.
No, it was very little. No, I think
there was
that
no
wind.
Dust. I thought everything was going to be covered in a layer.
There was a little bit, but it didn't leave like a lot of it. But there was a little bit.
Like a heavy pollen day.
Yes, that's what I would probably say. You're right. So if anybody got hit with that dust bowl, the weirdness and saw it, man, hopefully you were safe during that, and you didn't get caught by the nothing and ended up with
it was the nothing
with a luck dragon. What else happened? We were talking about something else that we want to talk about in the show today, and I can't remember what it was. Remember, I said, "Oh, we got to talk about this one." I can't remember.
Yeah,
I got whacked. I'm whacked. So anyway,
was it something about
Yuki?
Yuki
And her tooth? No, I don't want to talk about that. Sorry, Yuki.
We love you, Yuki.
There was something else, but I'll remember in the next show. You ready to get the show started?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Legalizing marijuana reduces the cost of workers' compensation claims and lowers prescription drugs used by patients, study shows. Legalizing marijuana is associated with reduction in workers' compensation claims and cost. Studies indicate that both medical and recreational cannabis laws lead to fewer claims and lower payouts. Medical marijuana legalization leads to 6.7% decline in workers' compensation claims. This suggests that access to medical cannabis helps workers manage symptoms from workplace injuries, reducing the need for claims. Recreational marijuana legalization results in 20% reduction in workers' compensation benefits receipts among older adults. This includes 20.5% decrease in annual income received from such claims. Access to cannabis may improve work capacity by providing alternative form of pain management. This is particularly beneficial for older workers dealing with chronic pain. Legal marijuana access is linked to decreased use of prescription drugs for conditions like pain, anxiety, and sleep disorders. The substitution effects can lead to costs for saving state medical programs. Recreational cannabis legalization is associated with significant reduction in prescription drug utilization. Depression, minus 11%, anxiety, minus 12%, pain, minus 8%, seizures, minus 10%, psychosis, minus 11%, and sleep disorders, minus 11%. A study found that 77.5% of medical marijuana patients reported reduced use of prescription painkillers. This indicates that patients are substituting cannabis for opioids and other opiates. Medical marijuana legalization is associated with 5 to 20% reduction in opioid dispensing among cancer patients under 65. This effect is more pronounced in states with dispensary allowances. States with medical marijuana laws that include employment protection see a larger reduction, 13.3% in workers' compensation claims.
Wow.
This suggests that legal safeguards encourage medical cannabis use among workers. Legal marijuana access may lead to improved workplace safety and reduced work absences. By effectively managing symptoms, workers may experience fewer injuries and take fewer sick days. Interesting. Some studies suggest that marijuana legalization could reduce fatal workplace incidents. For example, workplace deaths reduced by 34% 5 years after state legalized medical marijuana. Legalization may contribute to a decrease in fatal opioid overdoses. Research indicates a consistent negative relationship between marijuana legalization and fatal overdose, with more significant effects in states and legalized cannabis. Legal marijuana access may lead to decreased payments from opioid companies to pain doctors. That's a great one. This suggests a shift in the medical community approach to pain management. Overall, marijuana legalization appears to offer public health and economic benefits. These include reduced reliance on opioids, lower workers' compensation costs, and improved workforce productivity. These findings highlight the potential advantages of marijuana legalization in terms of healthcare cost savings, improved patient outcomes, and enhanced workplace efficiency. Yay, weed.
Yay, weed. Mm-hmm.
Our lovely dogs. And it's coming into, well, maybe not Chicago. It's looking like summertime. This will absolutely be the worst Memorial weekend I've seen in a very long time.
In a long while.
We are going to have very little sun. It's going to be in the low 60s, high 50s. And it's going to be like that all the way until like the middle of next week.
And coming out of a rainy week. So
yes.
Everything's just going to be kind of mushy and muddy. And
yes.
Yeah, so that kind of limits hiking even.
Yes. So we hope that summer is going to be here in July in Chicago instead, in Illinois in July. So we hope it's come soon. But travel is a big thing. And canines sometimes get nervous in cars, right?
Yeah. So we just returned from a trip.
Yes.
And it was a 2-day drive to Florida and a 2-day drive back home. And Yuki loves the car and she's a real trooper on these long road trips. But she was kind of a little stressed on our ride home. It was uncomfortable because we had vacationed in 2 different locations. So we were in one place for a full week and then moved to another place for a full week and then a hotel on the way there, a hotel on the way back.
But she doesn't like really hotels.
And it just she just didn't know what we were doing on the return drive home. She was just kind of like out of it, completely stressed out.
Yeah.
A lot of heavy breathing.
She's a very organized dog and a regimented dog. When you take her out of her element,
So we had been at the beaches. So, to her, it's like, am I going to the beach? Am I going to the vet? Am I going to a friend's house to play? Like, what are we doing today? Are we driving for 2 days? And so that last leg, she was trying to like barge into the front seat, which is really scary because she's so powerful. If she got onto either of our laps or nudged with her head the steering wheel, we'd be toast. Her head is so strong. Yeah. And so I had to climb in the back seat with her, and we attached her leash to the back seat belt just so that she didn't have any like extra space. So we have never tried CBD with her yet. And between her being a German Shepherd and joints being always a concern, and now we know maybe long car rides are a little questionable.
Can help. I refuse to give her Benadryl.
Right.
And she doesn't need Benadryl.
But I just considered it on that last stretch.
Yeah. And people have mentioned that before too. And
but we didn't do it.
Yeah. But I think I think we can possibly find some. I want to use really good high quality CBD and make sure that it is isolate, not full spectrum or broad spectrum, because don't you know there might be a little signs of THC in there.
And that can create paranoia for a dog.
Right. So you have to probably use CBD isolate.
Yes.
And so I want to find a good, or maybe make our own edible dog treats for her with CBD isolate, and hopefully we'll try little doses at a time. Yeah. And see how it gets better on our long journey, because I love taking her with. So it's summertime. Take care of your dogs and try some stuff to help them settle down a little bit. Tell us about it, Mrs Weedman.
Yep. So, for many dogs, a car ride is more than just a trip. It's a source of stress. Whether it's whining, lip licking, or increased heart rates, the signs are clear. Travel can be overwhelming for our furry friends. A recent study published in Scientific Reports explores the potential of cannabidiol, or CBD, to help dogs cope with stress, particularly during car journeys. Car travel is a routine part of life for many dogs, whether for vet visits, hikes, training sessions, whatever. Studies show that nearly 30% of dogs exhibit stress-related behaviors during car rides, from whining and yawning to elevated cortisol levels. The physiological and behavioral signs of stress are unmistakable. For those unfamiliar with car travel, this stress can persist, even after repeated exposure, as shown by previous research. CBD, a non-psychoactive compound derived from hemp, has been gaining popularity for its potential to reduce stress and anxiety. While its benefits for humans are well documented, research into its effects on dogs is still emerging. This study sought to determine whether daily doses of THC-free CBD could mitigate stress in dogs exposed to repeated car travel over 6 months. Researchers conducted a blind parallel design study with 19 dogs, exposing them to car rides at 4 intervals: week 0, week 8, week 16, and week 24. The dogs were divided into 2 groups, one receiving daily CBD capsules of 4 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, and the other a placebo. Key stress indicators, including serum cortisol, heart rate, whining, and lip licking, were measured before, during, and after each car ride. The findings were that there were immediate benefits. CBD significantly reduced cortisol levels, whining, and lip licking during the first 3 test intervals, indicating reduced stress compared to the placebo group. A diminished effect over time. By week 24, the effects of CBD at that dose had leveled off, possibly due to habituation or either the CBD or the car travel itself, that the dog has become accustomed to it. Persistent stress. Despite CBD treatment, car rides remained a stressful event for all dogs, underscoring the need for a multifaceted approach to stress management. While CBD shows promise, CBD interacts with the endocannabinoid system, which helps regulate stress responses. This study demonstrated that CBD can attenuate some stress indicators, particularly in the short term. However, it's clear that CBD alone isn't a magic fix. It works best when combined with other interventions, such as behavior modification or gradual desensitization. So, what does this mean for pet owners? If your dog struggles with car travel, CBD might be a helpful tool, but it's essential to use it wisely. Timing is key. Administer CBD about 2 hours before stressful events to maximize its effectiveness. Use high-quality products to ensure the CBD is THC-free and specifically designed for pets. Combine your strategies. Pair CBD with training or other stress reduction techniques for long-term results. And always consult your vet to ensure the correct dosage and safety for your animal. While the study highlights CBD's potential to reduce canine stress, its limitations, such as the small sample size and specific testing conditions, call for further research. Future studies should examine the effects of CBD on pet dogs with known travel anxiety, alternative dosages and administration methods, and long-term impacts of daily CBD use. CBD does show promise as a tool for reducing stress in dogs, especially during short-term stressors like car travel. However, it's not a standalone solution. A comprehensive approach that includes behavioral training and a supportive environment will yield the best results for canine well-being. For pet owners seeking ways to ease their dog's nerves, CBD might be just the extra tail wag of comfort they're looking for. Yeah. I would say start at like your neighborhood pet store, like a more like boutique-y or
Do
like
your research.
like a family owned pet shop where they might have more high quality products.
Mm-hmm.
Even try your health, like a local health food store, because they're carrying products.
And
or
they
like
should
a
have
Whole
COAs.
Foods. And yes, so there should be test results, lab results on the product.
Yes, and find out if people have used the product too.
Yeah.
See if there's any testimonies or people from, people you maybe can ask the pet shop owner if anybody has given any results or anything, or if they have used it on their dogs. So, yeah, CBD. We've talked about it before, but I think I've been this last car ride probably makes me want to try it again on a long distance ride with her.
And you've since taken her on rides.
30
She's fine.
minutes, 15
She still
minutes,
enjoys
an
her
hour.
car.
She'll go an hour like it's nothing, 2 hours. But you got to think we're going 10 hours in a car.
Right.
And she does really well. It was just that last leg.
She was just confused. I think she was confused more than anything.
Maybe she even might need to go to the bathroom. That was a way of her telling us, like, hey, pull the fuck over.
Pull over. I gotta poop.
Real weed experts or people that visit dispensaries quite often maybe wouldn't do this at a dispensary. We'll see. There seems to be several divides with the cannabis community. Many people, especially those who have worked in weed for a while, have strong opinions on the way things ought to be. This runs the gamut from now pot should be packaged to rules around testing. But one topic seems to be a general consensus within the shopping space, although a disconnect seemingly still exists. This article talks about the great Indica Sativa debate a little bit, also draws in what you kind of need to do when you're at a dispensary asking about it. And walk into pretty much any dispensary, and the menu will be broken out in Sativa Indica hybrid varieties. Bud tenders typically describe sativas as uplifting, indicas as relaxing, and hybrids as balanced. It's not just bud tenders, though. Articles, schools, for the last, since weed has gotten into dispensaries in the last 5 to 7 years, you've seen it categorized as that more so. But cannabis connoisseurs will argue that sativa, indica, and hybrid designations are an inaccurate and ill-informed way to buy weed. These arguments deduce that the labels are not correct. They actually describe the physical characteristics of the plants themselves, like height and density, not their effects. The chemical composition is the true driver of the individual strain experience, namely cannabinoids and terpenes. The cannabinoids such as THC, CBD, CBG, and so on are the gas in the tank, but terpenes responsible for flavor and aroma are the GPS guide. Pretty much any weed expert will argue this fact, and yet that indica sativa hybrid descriptors continue to perpetuate. Perhaps it's a simple easier for the retailers and consumers, not to mention the fact that many states do not require cannabis to be tested for terpene content. If the information is not available, how can customers ask for it? It's a chicken and the egg scenario, no doubt, and there seems to be no good answer. Testing and labels cost a lot of money, even if it's better for the consumer. In an industry struggling to survive, it's a subject seemingly on the back burner, and it has been for a very long time, Mrs. Weedman. Mm-hmm. We've talked about this for the last 6 years. Yeah. However, many weed varieties have established terpene content available online and in stores. Sometimes you will see terpene ratios on percentages on weed packages and menus, depending on the state or the brand. The most common cannabis terpenes are earthy, myrcene, peppery, beta-carotene, citrus-forward limonene. Other prevalent terps include evergreen, pinene, gassy, triptyline, hoppy humulene, and floral linalool. Myrcene, carotene, linalool, and humulene tend to be more relaxing, while terpene, limonene, pinene tend to be more uplifting. The next time you're in a dispensary, ask your friendly neighborhood bud tender, about the terps. You may be surprised by what you learn and what strains they recommend. You might even find a new favorite in the process. And yet, when you get home, write the information down, along with how you feel after. Before you know it, you'll be shopping like a true weed head, and you'll soon discover that indica sativas and hybrid distinctions is just for noobs.
I could tell you're a little stony baloney over
I'm
there.
stoned.
So am I.
Thank you, Ignius.
Yeah.
Using medical marijuana leads to significant improvement for sleep apnea patients.
Yeah.
Study conducted by Minnesota officials. Sleep apnea sucks. And people that have to wear that machine, I feel for you.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I think there's alternatives, but they're all pretty serious, like a medication. I think they have a device that gets implanted now. Like it's pretty crazy. But I will tell you, Minnesota for the win. Minnesota is just doing some things within their legal cannabis space.
Not even at retail yet for
Right.
recreational.
But they went about it to be data collection. They're in their medical dispensaries. You're using the cannabis as a patient, and they're taking data from their patients, and they're creating research and analytics on results and effects and all these positive, what's helping for pain, and they're collecting data and becoming their own research team.
At least somebody's doing it.
The
That's what I'm
state
saying.
made
At least someone's doing
that's a
it.
smart move. So anyway, this is specifically about sleep apnea patients. Minnesota officials have released the results of a state-funded study showing that medical marijuana provides significant benefits for people struggling with sleep apnea. Unlike many states that have enacted legalization, Minnesota's Office of Cannabis Management, or the OCM, routinely collects data on patients' experiences and produces research on its findings. This latest report focuses on sleep apnea, a condition that causes people to stop breathing temporarily throughout their sleep. The OCM's report found that about 40% of those who were certified to participate in the medical marijuana program due to sleep apnea reported an average of a 30% reduction in symptoms and were able to maintain that improvement for at least 4 months. State officials said the study is the largest on record involving obstructive sleep apnea in medical cannabis patients. The research, which looked at data from 3,102 patients enrolled in the medical cannabis program with sleep apnea from August 1st of 2018 through July 31st of 2023, found that 39.4% of all patients who participated experienced significant improvements in their sleep within 4 months of beginning treatment and were able to maintain the sleep improvements for an additional 4 months. Among patients who initially reported moderate to severe fatigue at enrollment, 55.3% saw significant improvements within 4 months, and 33.5% were able to achieve and maintain improved scores. Disturbed sleep and fatigue were the most common symptoms reported among patients, with 93% and 86.8% of patients reporting moderate to severe scores at baseline, respectively. Among patients with moderate to severe disturbed sleep, 60.8% saw approximately 30% reduction in disturbed sleep symptoms within 4 months. Of those patients with data after initial improvement, 73.6% maintained approximately 30% improvement in their disturbed sleep for at least 4 months after initial improvement. Grace Christensen, an OCM senior research analyst, said in a press release that the results of the study show meaningful changes in disturbed sleep and fatigue for patients after starting medical cannabis. Obstructive sleep apnea can affect a patient's mental and physical health, so helping patients treat their symptoms can have a holistic outcome on their well-being, she said. Patients with sleep apnea who also reported they had symptoms of depression or anxiety also showed symptoms and signs of relief. Had symptoms of depression and or anxiety also showed signs of relief from those symptoms, OCM said. More than 39.8% of those experiencing depressive symptoms and more than 36.7% of those experiencing symptoms of anxiety were able to achieve relief. My brain can't get these words out.
Not following. It's not going as quickly as your eyes.
Yeah, blah, blah. Minnesota's medical cannabis program is unique among the states with medical cannabis programs in that it is required by law to study and learn from the experience of patients. Amazing. Minnesota's program collects data about participating patients and publishes research that adds to the growing scientific knowledge base about medical cannabis. According to an industry-backed survey released in January, about 16% of Americans aged 21 and older say they use cannabis as a sleep aid. That makes marijuana more popular for sleep than prescription sleep aids or alcohol, but still not quite as common as using supplements or over-the-counter sleep aids. This past March, a legislative committee in the state gave approval to a plan that would expand eligibility for expungement of marijuana-related criminal records and resentencing. So I say, move along, Minnesota, because you're doing the right stuff.
Yeah. Too cold for us to move up there, but
Yeah.
maybe we'll visit one day. Haven't been there in a very long time. Been there twice.
Right.
Yeah. The drive is nice too, especially in the fall.
It's beautiful. You
The
drive
fall
up along the Mississippi.
Can you spell it?
Mississippi. I mean, how many times did you have to spell that as a kid?
A lot.
A lot.
Cannabinoids, including THC, CBD, THCV, CBC, and CBG, protect pancreatic cells from damage linked to type 2 diabetes.
Oh.
According to a new study published in the journal Molecules, cannabinoids including THC, CBD, THCV, CBC, and CBG may protect pancreatic B cells from damage linked to type 2 diabetes. I like all those cannabinoids, by the way. Still waiting for somebody to make me to formulate a plant that has all those in there.
All of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're missing actually you got all my faves. Oh, CBN would be great too to have in there. For the study, researchers at the University of Lethbridge used high glucose, high lipid conditions to mimic the cellular environment that often leads to B cell dysfunction in type 2 diabetes mellitus, right? T2DM. The team had assessed how 5 phytocannabinoids commonly found in marijuana affected the insulin producing cells. The study found that all 5 cannabinoids reduced HGHL, induced apoptosis, a form of programmed cell death, which is believed to contribute to the loss of B cells in T2DM. The cannabinoids appear to exert the effect by lowering levels of TXNIP, a protein linked to oxidative stress and inflammation. In addition to curbing apoptosis, THC and the minor cannabinoids THCV, CBC, and CBG also help to prevent HGHL-related impairments in the B cell function. These findings suggest that certain cannabinoids could offer therapeutic potential for protecting pancreatic cells and possibly managing or preventing type 2 diabetes. The study contributes to a growing body of research exploring how compounds in marijuana may affect metabolic health through interactions with the endocannabinoid system, which plays a key role in regulating appetite, fat storage, and glucose metabolism. How high do you want to get, Mrs. Weedman? How high can you get, or can you get higher? How higher can you get from every hit?
That's confusing.
So how high can you get?
I'll talk about it.
Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Those who love cannabis likely remember their first hit, how weed washes over the system and relaxes your swirling thoughts and tense muscles. And that can quickly turn someone into an enthusiast. Unfortunately, though, after regular use, that initial vibe is hard to achieve again. I have a hard time, feeling high. It's like I guess I'm stoned. But I like getting that kind of euphoria.
You have to smoke some really good strains that have that
a lot of
euphoric.
it, yeah.
Because our endocannabinoid system is now so in tune with it. You've been smoking it for so long now. It's not about being high. It's about being better. Mm-hmm. You know, so the medicine is there in your body now all the time. So it's not meant to get you there. It's meant to just make you feel good at all times. Like make your body not hurt anymore. Make your mental state feel better. Getting that higher, I mean, you just got to find that good euphoric feeling. Because I don't remember what we smoked a couple weeks ago. Remember I said I was seeing fucking trails and shit. It was beautiful. It was wonderful, because I haven't felt that in a while. So I think it's just certain strains now that do that for me. But yes, you're maintaining your medication now.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yep. This hot level of high becomes unattainable because smoking, eating, or vaping every day creates tolerance. After some time, this immunity makes effects like that first time almost impossible to achieve. Lots of regular consumers choose to take tolerance breaks to release some of this unwanted tolerance to THC. Others might not want to slingshot themselves into sobriety like that. Anyone hoping to enjoy cannabis for years to come should follow these tips to temper their weed tolerance. Switch your consumption methods. Everyone has a preference on how they like to enjoy weed. Still, they should play with various consumption methods rather than rigorously siding with one. A person who usually hits a bong packed with dried flower might get extremely stoned from a dab. Someone who reaches for the vape might find the same to be true about smoking dried flower or dried cured flower. You know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to just ad-lib it. Like I can just wing it. That's what my brain's telling me to do. Just pick some words. Read it however you want. And then I'm looking at the words like, no, that's not right. Stop it, Susan. Okay. Someone who reaches for the vape pen first might find the same to be true about smoking dried cured flower. As for the regular dabbers, it's the highest tolerance building method. Dabbing is. Those who like to dab will be most in need of mini breaks, especially if they're not interested in rotating through different consumption methods. Instead of a full tolerance break, dabbers might benefit from switching to vape pens or flower for a week or so to recalibrate their system. Versatile cannabis consumers are more apt to keep their tolerance at bay. This can also be applied at a more granular level. Much like rotating consumption methods, it's wise to switch it up, buying different strains and brands. Every cannabis strain is slightly different. Even ones with the same genetics might create unique terpenes. This sometimes makes finding the right products hard, but it also means that changing up the flavor could lessen your tolerance. Everyone should have a few known varieties and brands on their roster and switch between them at each dispensary visit. A tolerance break is when someone completely stops smoking cannabis or consuming it in any way for a specified period of time to give their body a minute to process all of the cannabinoids. This theoretically makes it so the same amount of cannabis will get that person more stoned than it did before their break. Medical patients may need this more than anyone, but unfortunately, quitting cold turkey is difficult for some of this population. This crowd could alter the tolerance break from cold turkey to something that fits their life better. Instead of stopping altogether, they can limit their daily use to smaller amounts. Slowly tempering to a smaller daily dose is a solid alternative to a classic tolerance break. Supplementing use with a CBD oil or vape can also help a person cut back on their THC-laden cannabis consumption. Quitting everything for a specified period is the most effective way to take a tolerance break, but it does not work for every single cannabis consumer. So explore strategies to find a way to temper your use, and then everyone wins. When someone compulsively consumes more cannabis than their endocannabinoid system requires, it might be time to look inward. Getting stoned can become a coping mechanism used to avoid dealing with trauma, anger, sadness, and other big feelings. Anyone identifying with this group, even a little, should reflect on their relationship with the plant. This means asking why they are taking a hit when they reach for the vape, bong, pipe, or whatever method they prefer. Perhaps after having these internal conversations, they realize some hits are not really worth taking, or they could learn more about why they turned to cannabis. Knowing oneself is the goal, and it is only possible with self-inquiry. Being a daily consumer means coming to terms with an inevitable tolerance to the products we love. These tolerance tactics could stave off the mountain and help keep a tiny bit of weed working for you. That said, those who are able should consider regular tolerance breaks to avoid oversaturating your endocannabinoid system. The plant is all about finding balance, after all.
Balance.
Balance.
With the force.
Moderation. I was kind of at the point because I was dealing with headaches, and then I just had so much going on and I wasn't feeling well, and I was grabbing for CBD during the day, THC in the evening, and then that evening was getting earlier in the day and the CBD was getting higher, and then it was like, oh, I can mix it in with a little THC. And it really was, it was like I needed it, but then I felt like it was clouding my efforts it wasn't effective.
Right.
So I scaled back, and like greatly scaled back. I'm probably consuming half of what I was consuming a month ago.
Longer than that.
Maybe 2 months ago.
No, even longer. You stopped taking the CBD tinctures probably
March.
Like right after Christmas, right after the holidays.
Yeah.
You said you were starting to feel better and you didn't need it as much.
Well, no, I was just having issues with focus and just strange stuff like vision stuff and like my glasses and days feeling like I didn't need them. I don't my focus, like just visual focus and mental focus were an issue. So I thought, well, I mean, CBD is something I can eliminate. Right. Maybe because I was using a full spectrum CBD.
Yeah.
During the day.
It was a ratio.
And so yeah. And then at some point I'd pop like a 2 milligram edible also. And, I think it was just too much.
Right.
Not too much, too much, just too much for me to be able to function and do my work.
Right.
So I just had to scale it back.
Yeah. You still smoke weed.
Oh, yeah. That's not going anywhere. And I'll go back to the CBD during the day.
Yeah.
I wanted to feel without it. And yeah, it's fine. It's all good.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm trying.
Political state and business news, and this will be Mrs. Weedman's first time joining in with me on the political state and business news.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I said, give me a piece of the pie.
Yep. She got a piece.
Sitting here for a half hour, like I don't know what to do with myself. I'm like looking and stuff up on the computer.
She got a piece of the pie.
Yeah.
So welcome to the news.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I made it to the desk.
You did.
Like an anchor. What's that movie? Anchorman.
Anchor woman.
I'm anchor woman.
Here's something that happened in the south side of Chicago. South side. 11 students sickened, taken to hospital after eating cannabis edibles at a Chicago school. 11 students from Fort Dearborn Elementary in Chicago were hospitalized after eating marijuana edibles. In total, 22 students consumed the THC-laced items. Officials are investigating how the edibles got into the school, with parents demanding answers and emphasizing the likely involvement of an adult. Dun, 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 dun. Kids. You fucked shit up when you do this. You fuck it up for all of us.
I wonder what they ate, like a whole bag of gummies.
Who knows? Probably a couple. There were 10 milligram gummies and it was their first time in elementary school. You ain't knowing what the fuck's up.
You want to go slump yourself against a wall.
Or go eat some fucking school pizza. Which is
slump
great.
Yourself against a wall with a slice
I was a kid, school pizza day was fucking the shit.
Taco boats.
Oh, the best.
Taco boats.
Washington state sees rise in cannabis training and as industry grows. Washington's $1.1 billion cannabis industry is spurring growth in specialized training programs. Institutions like Gonzaga University, Seattle Central College, and Tacoma Community College offer certificates in such areas as cannabis healthcare and compliance. These programs attract many adult learners seeking career transitions. Industry professionals, including healthcare providers, enroll and better understand cannabis applications. Sales reached approximately $93 million in April of 2025, reflecting the sector's expansion. Yeah. Lower your taxes, though, Washington. Your taxes are way the highest in the country. Illinois being number 2. You're number 1. 47%. Ugh. Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Missouri Supreme Court hears 2-year lawsuit over marijuana sales tax. The Missouri Supreme Court is reviewing whether both cities and counties can each impose a 3% marijuana sales tax. Florissant Dispensary argues that the dual taxation is unconstitutional. The outcome will affect over 70 jurisdictions statewide that currently stack these taxes. Hey, welcome to our world here in Illinois, Missouri. We get stacked upon stacked upon stacked upon stacked in this fucking state. Kidding me now? Cannabis industry should develop more consistent drying methods, federal science agency says. The National Institute of Standards and Technology has released a report highlighting significant inconsistencies in hemp drying methods across the cannabis industry. These variations affect moisture levels, leading to unreliable lab testing results. The NIST urges the development of standardized drying procedures to ensure accurate measurements of cannabinoids and contaminants. This initiative is part of the NIST's ongoing cannabis laboratory quality assurance program aimed at enhancing testing precisions following hemp's federal legalization of 2018. Michigan cannabis sales fall again in April. The Michigan Cannabis Regulatory Agency breaks out sales by medical and adult use medical sales, falling 72.3% from a year ago. They are now under $1 million. They're doing $500,000 in medical sales.
Wow.
Down 21.4%. And adult use sales decreasing to 2.5% year over year to $269.7 million. I do not feel bad. You're still doing $269 million. Down 2.4%. As supply continues to expand, flower pricing for adult use have seen a dramatic decline. In April, the average price for a pound, you ready for this? $996.
For a pound?
A new record low. Fell by 4.5% and declined 28.1% from a year ago to a new low. Under
That's
a
crazy.
G. Oh, yeah. Retailers and growers are crowding Vermont's cannabis market. Vermont's cannabis market has experienced a rapid growth with over 400 licensed growers and more than 100 retail outlets. That's a lot for a very tiny state like Vermont. 400 licensed growers. Whew, and only 100 outlets to sell to. Oh, that's backwards.
Mm-hmm.
That's oversupply. Leading to concerns about market saturations. You think? Regulators are evaluating the situation to determine approximate next steps for the industry. Yes, either open more dispensaries or these licensed growers you need to scale it down. I mean, that's a lot. Or maybe one day they'll go across state lines. Hopefully. The U.S. marijuana industry lost jobs last year, even as sales grows to new record high, industry analysis shows. In 2023, the U.S. legal cannabis industry experienced a first record job decline, losing approximately 10,500 positions. A 2% decrease, despite 3% increases in sales at $26.1 billion. This was in 2023. The downturn was primarily due to oversupply, price compression, and regulatory challenges in mature markets like California and Colorado. Conversely, emerging markets such as Michigan and Missouri saw significant job growth, adding over 10,000 positions each. Analysts anticipate stabilization and renewed growth as the industry adapts to evolving market dynamics. And now here's Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah, with more news.
Take it away.
From here and afar. California Governor Gavin Newsom won't stop July increase in marijuana excise tax. He has confirmed that the state's cannabis excise tax will rise from 15% to 19% on July 1st, 2025, as mandated by a 2022 law. This 26% increase aims to offset revenue shortfalls following the elimination of the cultivation tax. Well, we'll just shift it over and put it on the consumer. Mm-hmm. Industry leaders warn the hike could further harm legal businesses already struggling with high taxes and competition from the illicit market. Despite legislative efforts to block the increase, Newsom's revised budget does not propose delaying or canceling the tax hike. New state laws say Santa Claus must lay off the weed. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs signed legislation banning marijuana advertisements that appeal to minors, including those featuring Santa Claus and other child-friendly characters. The law, effective June 30th, 2026, prohibits ads using cartoons, imitating children's brands, or depicting consumption. It also restricts advertising near schools and mandates health warnings. Violations may incur penalties up to $20,000. JetBlue warns of a spike in flight attendants failing drug tests, but the union says there might be an innocent explanation. JetBlue has reported a significant increase in flight attendants failing random drug and alcohol tests. The Transport Workers Union, TWU, suggests that legal products such as CBD items and certain over-the-counter medications may inadvertently cause positive results for substances like THC. Despite these potential innocent explanations, JetBlue enforces a strict zero-tolerance policy, leading to immediate termination upon a positive test. Pennsylvania House and Senate marijuana legalization supporters blame one another for lack of coordination on bill. A Pennsylvania House passed a bill to legalize recreational marijuana through state-run stores, and it was rejected by the GOP-controlled Senate, leading to mutual blame between House and Senate legislation supporters over poor coordination. Disagreements center on the state-run sales model, which lacks Senate support. Despite Governor Josh Shapiro's backing and public support for legalization, internal divisions and strategic misalignment among Democrats have stalled progress. Go figure.
I know there's some pissed off people that didn't pass, but I'm telling you right now, Pennsylvania would be happy it's not state run.
Yeah. It would have been terrible.
You would have got the shittiest fucking bunk you ever smoked. I'm just saying. Just be happy. Have your fucking senators and House rewrite the bill the right way. Mm-hmm. Let mom and pop shops make the money, not the state.
Yep. Senate Republicans remain opposed, and no consensus has been reached on a viable path forward. Legal markets protect marijuana consumers from tainted products. An op-ed emphasizes that state-regulated marijuana markets offer consumers safer products by enforcing quality control, testing, and labeling standards. In contrast, unregulated products, often derived from hemp, lack such oversight. This is really important. People just don't realize this, that this really is posing a health risk to all consumers, yep. Right? People aren't understanding what they're consuming when they're not buying stuff at a dispensary or a legitimate neighborhood craft grower, your local plug, right? The piece advocates for a unified cannabis retailer license to streamline regulations and ensure consumer safety across both marijuana and hemp-derived products, because we need them both. This approach aims to balance public health protection with market fairness. Moving on to Iowa, a candidate for Iowa governor wants to legalize recreational marijuana. State Auditor Rob Sand, the sole Democratic candidate for Iowa governor in 2026, advocates for legalizing recreational marijuana. He proposes treating cannabis like alcohol, highlighting that Iowans are spending money in neighboring states with legal marijuana, resulting in lost tax revenue for Iowa. Sand emphasizes that both alcohol and cannabis can cause harm, but believes individuals should not be incarcerated solely for cannabis use. A 2022 University of Iowa poll showed over 50% supported legalization. Nebraska. Why do Nebraska lawmakers want to change the state's voter-approved marijuana law?
Because they're
voter-approved.
Because they're stupid.
Lawmakers, let's change it. Because what do the voters know? What do the people who are asking for it? What do they even know?
Because they're stupid.
We know more. We don't even smoke weed. All right, Nebraska. You lawmakers are considering changes to the state's voter-approved medical marijuana law, primarily, go figure, to establish a regulatory framework and allocate state funds for the new Medical Cannabis Commission. Okay, well, fix it. Just do it the right way.
Fix it.
Do it the right way. TP. I need TP for my bunghole. Why am I like the poop talker the last couple weeks?
Poop talk.
Senator Ben Hanson's legislative bill 677 aims to prevent the system from becoming unregulated, which he warns could lead to a Wild West scenario. There is really nothing worse than introducing a bad program or introducing a really loose program. Either way, like an overregulated and an underregulated program, it's proven it doesn't work. There has to be some structure because it makes sense. Just frickin' find the states that are doing it right and
fix it.
Fix it. TP. Opponents, including Attorney General Mike Hilgers, argue the bill could pave the way for recreational marijuana and undermine public safety. That's the end of the evening news. Thank you very much.
Your part of it.
My part.
Yeah.
That's U.S. news.
You did a pretty good job.
Thanks.
For your first time doing the news with me.
Yeah.
Start coming up with a comment.
Oh, yeah, you talk about stuff.
Bring it back
I'm
to me.
I'm just reading.
Bring it back to me, though.
I'm uber efficient.
Bring it back to me, though. Like, introduce me like I introduced you.
Oh, Mr. Weedman. How about, I don't know what your next topic
is. It's political state business news.
How about some political state and business news with Mr. Weedman?
You goofball.
I should, if I had papers like a newscaster, I'd clink my papers on the
them.
table and put them down, and then it's your turn.
Take a sip of your High Life.
Oh, yeah. High Life on the news?
Anchorman always take a High Life.
Man, I got water.
There you go.
Boring.
This is the DEA portion of the show. It's all about the DEA. So ready? DEA picks refuses to detail marijuana rescheduling stance in response to senators' questions. DEA Administrator Terrence Cole has declined to specify his stance. You like that? Specify his stance on rescheduling marijuana and how he would enforce federal cannabis laws in states with legalization. In written responses to Senators Cory Booker and Alex Palidia, Cole stated he would give the matter a careful consideration, if confirmed, without offering a definitive position. Previously, Cole has expressed concerns about marijuana potential risks, including links to youth suicide. Cole, you need to talk to our friend Cole and listen to the Cole memo. So, you, Mr. Cole, are clueless.
Not Cole Memo Cole.
No, this Cole. Terrence Cole. Director of DOJ canceled programs to monitor marijuana potency, hopes his work can continue. Dr. Mahmoud El Shuv, director of University of Mississippi Marijuana Research Project, expressed concerns after Department of Government Efficiency canceled the contracts to monitor marijuana potency. The program has tracked THC levels and seized cannabis since 1976. Mrs. Weedman's alarm went off because she needs to take her medication. Sorry about that, everybody. Revealing a significant increase from 3.96% in 1995 to 16.1.4% in 2022. He hopes to continue receiving samples for analysis, emphasizing the importance of data for understanding public health implications. Trump taps former prosecutor who threatened medical marijuana dispensaries to lead pardon office. President Donald Trump appointed Ed Martin, former federal prosecutor for Washington, D.C., as the new U.S. pardon attorney. Martin previously sent a letter to a licensed medical marijuana dispensary in D.C., threatened federal prosecutions despite local compliance. He argued the dispensary violated federal law by operating near schools, citing the Safe and Drug-Free Schools and Communities Act. Martin's appointment raises concerns about the future of marijuana-related clemency actions under his leadership. Funny. Your ringer hasn't worked since you got this new phone.
Yeah, and it worked.
Now it worked today.
Yeah. Sorry. You know what I realized? I usually, when we record, put the phone on airplane mode.
And you forgot.
I apologize if there's a whole bunch of video interruptions.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
DA partners with anti-marijuana group to spread memes claiming cannabis is linked to suicide, depression, and low sperm count, which all are false. All false propaganda by these partners. The Drug Enforcement Administration has partnered with Johnny's Ambassadors, an anti-marijuana group. I hate to even give them a promotion on this show, to promote a campaign during National Prevention Week. The campaign encourages, shares memes of claims of cannabis use to link suicide, depression, and 50% decrease in sperm count, which I just read a scientific article saying it does not affect sperm count. Good sperm, good wigglers. Did you realize I just saw a video that there is sperm races going on in this world? You saw that?
I have
sperm races. Yes. Mm-hmm. Take two sperm, they put them in a
microscope,
and
they have races,
and then it's on the big screen. Yeah, and it's in a big screen.
Yeah,
and the first one to get to the middle wins.
That's pretty funny. I mean,
it's funny as fuck. But boy, is that fucked up.
Like that's where we are these days. That's where we are.
That's where we are. That sperm that could have hit an egg could have been the one that cured cancer,
right?
And now it's just used as a bar tool to make money on.
What if you're like you become like a purebred?
That sperm is
your
dead.
Lineage is from the great
race,
the great race winner,
the great sperm race.
Yes. The strongest sperm in all of the United States.
These memes hosted on the DA website can cite studies that have been contradicted by others' research. Critics argue that such claims are misleading and may be undermining public trust in the DA's message. DA blames legal marijuana states for inadvertently aiding cartels while also admitting that prohibition states create illegal market opportunities. The DA's 2025 National Drug Threat Assessment claims that states with legalized marijuana inadvertently assist cartels by allowing illicit cultivation under state licenses. However, the report also acknowledges that ongoing prohibition in other states creates illegal market opportunities, leading to interstate trafficking of illicit cannabis. This dual perspective suggests that while legal markets may be exploited, they also reduce demand for illegal marijuana. implicitly supporting the arguments that legalization disrupts the illicit market. I told you this is these articles were all about the DA, and I gave them that much because everything this is about is absolute dog shit. Just complete poop. It's just I'm just scratching my head. I have just this feeling deep in my gut that we will not see rescheduling during these next 4 years, or actually even descheduling in the next, after just seeing what all these folks in the DEA are talking about. It's very upsetting and very depressing. But I will tell you this: weed has been here for 10,000 years, and it's going to be here for another 10,000 more fucking years, and no one will ever be able to stop it. Sorry, you tried and you failed throughout the world. It is a plant given to us by God. There's angels in those leaves, and it was made for us, and it was made for this earth, and no one's going to stop it, says Mr. Weedman. A new fear for cannabis growers: water rules drying up their dreams. New Mexico must be a very hard place to grow weed, like the desert regions.
Yeah.
Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. I mean,
yeah, you probably have to have a little hoop house.
Well,
a little greenhouse.
New Mexico cannabis farmers like Pamela Craddock are abandoning the industry due to new rules requiring costly water rights, effectively banning water hauling as a primary source. The policy aimed at curbing illegal water use disproportionately impacts small rural growers who relied on hauled water. Many face financial ruin, including debt and business closures, while temporary exemptionists exit. The shift has upended livelihoods and dreams, leading to widespread concerns over fairness and the future of legal cannabis farming in the state.
Wow.
It's tough in those deserts. I mean, you need a lot of water to grow a lot of weed.
I could see the state, like after what just happened in California and all of the natural disaster going on and the world just getting hotter. I could see why the town might need to be more conservative with their usage. But then what about these people's livelihoods? Then they should have some sort of program that helps them.
Well, water running, they stopped them from being able to order water to be delivered to where they're at. So, it's just, I mean, in those areas, it's tough.
Yeah.
You need to be around water and have to drive that shit a little further. But, I mean, water is gallons upon gallons. We've talked about it. I mean, how much water weed likes to slurp up, Sad. Hopefully they can figure it out. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, in trouble from Congress over blocking marijuana. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is under federal scrutiny for allegedly misusing state funds to oppose Amendment 3, a 2024 ballot initiative to legalize recreational marijuana. Reports indicate that nearly $4 million from opioid settlement funds and $10 million from medical settlements were redirected to anti-cannabis campaigns. Some linked to charity led by First Lady Casey DeSantis. Congressional Democrats have requested a federal investigation, citing potential Medicaid fraud and misuse of taxpayer money. I mean, all the money they sunk into all the false propaganda that they did, and the government of Florida did, to stop. We needed 3 more percent. 3 more percent. Ron DeSantis, you were very highly respected in Florida. I know there's some people that didn't like you in Florida, but a lot of people liked you in Florida. If this is true, this ruins everything you've done. During COVID.
It's a big setback.
It's a big setback.
Huge.
You're going to jail.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah.
You stole federally taxpayer funds, and what Trump is doing right now and everybody's doing is trying to stop this kind of stuff. You get fucked, man. If you did this, you better come clean. Because you and your wife are going to go down, and we're going to get cannabis legalized in Florida because you folks in Florida were screwed if this actually really happened.
Totally.
Those 3 points could have swung, So from false propaganda and using taxpayer dollars. Highway robbery, Mrs. Weedman. I woke you up, didn't I?
I knew with my head, yeah.
Glitch in Oklahoma marijuana licensing portals canceled thousands of businesses' license. A glitch in the licensing portal that the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authorities use inadvertently canceled thousands of medical marijuana business licenses. They are urging businesses that were affected to reach out to them. The OMMA also said if a business received this notification, it can continue operating. That's what they said. Not Mr. Weedman, the OMMA. A licensed grower in the OKC area received an email around 3 a.m. notifying him that his license had expired. The grower said thousands of him received similar notifications in the middle of the night. And Mrs. Weedman.
Yeah.
Every day, THC goods get you busted in these states.
Yes.
Still to this day. In this day and age, we're still getting busted for fucking weed. You know what gets more play? And I hope it, I hope it, it goes through too, but psychedelics is getting more publicity than cannabis. It's fucking crazy.
Positive
publicity. Yes, positive publicity. Crazy.
Yep.
Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
Yes. Navigating the cannabis space has gotten confusing for almost everyone. The cannabinoids and terpenes are only one educational pillar. Then there's the issue of multiple markets operating differently around this one plant. State-regulated dispensaries and operators adhere to strict compliance regulations. Then there are smoke shops that stock intoxicating hemp or THCA products next to kratom, over-the-counter magic mushrooms, and other euphoric herbs. They are also sometimes found in gas stations, bodegas, and corner stores, too. With all of these options available and little guidance as to what a person is actually buying, navigating the cannabis space is confusing to most. So here's a breakdown of what these products actually are and where they are definitely not legal. Intoxicating hemp THC products. So intoxicating hemp, what they're talking about is the Farm Bill allowed hemp to be grown again. The hemp that can be grown is for industrial and CBD products. That hemp can only have up to 0.3% THC. That's hemp. So there's THC in it, very low quantities. Then you have dispensary weed. That is THC, that is cannabis sativa derived. Same plant, just one produces a higher THC content. The other has a very fluctuating percentage of THC. Okay. So to get products out of the hemp-based THC, this is the problem. Nobody really knows what anyone's doing because these products aren't regulated. Okay. Dispensary products, there's a trail. There's a paper trail that tells you everything about the process of where that product is coming from. Big difference. Okay. So this article is focusing on hemp-derived THC products, not what you buy in a dispensary, okay? And again, there can be good hemp-derived THC products. You'll find those at a health food store, a Whole Foods type environment, okay? But still, do your research. Make sure that there's a quality control sticker, a QR code that gives you all of the history of the product.
There's now big MSOs opening up hemp stores.
That means multi-state operators in the legal cannabis space are now opening operations and creating hemp-derived THC products
at the Salt Shed.
To sell in a retail space,
the Salt
not
Shed.
A dispensary.
The Salt Shed has a hemp-derived
Rise.
Rise, right? Yeah, Rise GTI. They have a hemp-derived shop. Drinks, gummies,
all the same brands you would find in their dispensary,
but made with hemp.
Made with hemp product.
Delta
so
9.
It can be sold in a retail setting, not a dispensary.
Right.
Okay. So that's what we're talking about here. So intoxicating hemp-derived THC products are made in a few ways, and many believe they are compliant thanks to the 2018 Farm Bill. Many meaning the consumers, right? This doctrine legalized hemp testing for under 0.3% THC for cultivation, sale, and manufacturing. The level is set there because these products are not intended to be overtly psychoactive or intoxicating. But over time, chemists have learned how to manipulate compliant hemp flower, the bud that's on the hemp plant, so it can get people high. Now, here we have a problem, right? This can be done by using so much of the dry flower that it has a high inducing amount of THC. Others opt to synthesize THC from the CBD plant, and extract it is then purchased in bulk, which may leave behind, because this bulk process of synthesizing the THC, stripping out of the plants, requires chemicals, and there can then be byproduct. So again, if your product isn't tested, you're getting it at a gas station, you're getting it at a convenience store, and you have no idea where it's coming from. There could be chemicals in there, fertilizers, nutrients that aren't pesticides, things, right? And
things
that aren't good. And if rumors are to be believed, there's a word that certain companies sell cannabis-derived THC as hemp-derived using fake labeling. Who knows? Wherever the intoxicating hemp is coming from, people are buying it as quickly or faster than state-regulated weed, especially where there is no legal form of cannabis. States have taken different approaches to managing the overlap of regulated cannabis and Farm Bill compliant hemp brands. Certain legislators, like those in Kentucky, have opted to regulate the hemp space for consumers. Others have chosen to ban or widely prohibit hemp products to ensure THC stays below intoxicating levels. Those seeking a simple answer to where is intoxicating hemp-derived THC banned will be disappointed. But let's talk about the clearest picture that is available. Just take note that cannabis and hemp policies are constantly in a state of flux all over the United States. So if you're listening to this and you're worried about or concerned about a particular state, definitely double check, because rules and laws are always changing. Okay? Alaska, they have issued an advisory notice reminding constituents that hemp products containing Delta-9 THC cannot be sold to a consumer. It also iterates that the Department of Agriculture does not endorse these foods and inhalables. Arizona is currently embroiled in the hemp conversation. Attorney General Chris Mays is spearheading an effort to ban all consumable hemp products. However, a petition for special action filed by the Hemp Industry Trade Association of Arizona will be heard in the Arizona Court of Appeals before any decisions can be made. For now, things are hazy. California's Governor Gavin Newsom enacted emergency regulations in late 2024 to ban all hemp products that contain THC. This made the sale of any hemp food, drink, or other ingestible product unlawful if they have detectable amounts of THC. Idaho has doubled down on prohibition in recent years. So he even excluded the 0.3%. It's zero. Well, Idaho has doubled down on prohibition in recent years, passing a law to make any level of possession a $300 fine. Idaho also has ironclad anti-hemp laws. No hemp with more than 0% THC can be manufactured within the state. If the products are not 0% THC, they must be destroyed or subject to law enforcement. All forms of THC are illegal in Idaho. Kansas, state regulators license hemp operators to grow Farm Bill compliant flower for products. Smoking hemp flower, though, is illegal in the state. So dumb. Registered patients are permitted to eat it or apply hemp products containing as much as 5% THC. Others can only consume and possess products with 0%. My gosh. Who makes these dumb rules? Massachusetts Department of Agriculture Resources licenses hemp cultivation and processing for the state, which defines hemp as not exceeding 0.3% THC and prohibits the sale of Delta-8 THC. It also bans hemp-derived THC or CBD foods. Michigan. All hemp growers must be registered with Michigan and adhere to growing and processing products that test below 0.3% THC. There are varying accounts of whether these items can be ordered online to a Michigan residence. Some sources say it's permitted, while others believe it is not. Nebraska lawmakers are currently arguing Legislative Bill 316, which seeks to define any hemp or cannabis testing over 0.3% THC as marijuana. This aligns with any products for sale or shipped into the state. They must test under that level to be legal. Nevada, their Department of Agriculture redefined allowable THC in 2022. Any isomer or cannabinoids that create THC exceeding 0.3% THC are considered cannabis in Nevada. I guess that kind of makes sense. It's less confusing to the consumer. If there's no THC, you have CBD. If there's 0.3% or more, it's THC.
Right.
There's no THCA anymore. There's no hemp derived. It's just there's CBD and there's THC. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess if it has 0.1% or 0.2%, it could still be, but that would be a small amount of people that would be confused anymore. Uh-huh. That could simplify things. Or maybe I'm just high and I'm oversimplifying something that doesn't even make sense. Very possible.
Very possible.
Those possessing these products are considered to be holding cannabis from an unlicensed source by law enforcement officials. So there you go. Let's go backward, right? Let's go backward. Keep arresting those people for weed. Dumb. New Hampshire passed Senate Bill 505 in 2024, which permanently banned hemp products containing more than 0.3% THC. The law covers natural or synthetic THC on a dry weight basis in any formulation. It also prohibits other variants like Delta 8. North Carolina lawmakers are discussing Senate Bill 265, which seeks to register those selling hemp products and regulate the industry. While it's being argued, the state currently views any hemp testing over 0.3% THC as marijuana, and thus it is illegal. Pennsylvania defines cannabis to include hemp-derived THC products, synthetics, extracts, and different deltas. This definition makes possession of any cannabis product purchased outside of a state-regulated medical cannabis program illegal. Compliant hemp flower must test at or below 0.3% THC, and individual product units have to be 0.5 milligram of THC per serving and a total of 2 milligrams of THC per package. There are many states with stringent policies making intoxicating hemp unlawful. These remaining locations witness a varying degree of prohibition and regulation. Those living in Colorado, Hawaii, Maryland, Missouri, Montana, New York, North Dakota, Virginia, and Washington should read deeply into their laws before diving into intoxicating hemp. These states do not outright ban them, but severely limit the THC content in hemp products. Navigating cannabis is not a straight arrow these days. The average consumer often does not know the difference between THC products sold at a smoke shop and one bought from a licensed adult use dispensary. Some lawmakers attempt to banish the nuance by prohibiting the sale of these products altogether. Others seem to be banking on regulating them rather than creating a legalization model. The only constant in current hemp-derived THC regulation is that no two states look alike. Moral of the story, look up your state laws on hemp before crossing state lines with it. Know your laws.
Know your laws. International news. First president to legalize cannabis has died, honoring Uruguay's Pepe Mujica's legacy. Jose Pepe Mujica, former president of Uruguay, died at 89 after battling cancer. In 2013, he became the first head of state to legalize all forms of cannabis, aiming to undercut drug trafficking by regulating the market. His policy laid the groundwork for global cannabis reform and continues to inspire change. Mujica was known for his humility, living modestly, and donating most of his salary, embodying a commitment to social justice and progressive leadership. Rest in peace.
Nice.
Pepe, the first, number one, right there. No one can ever take that away from Uruguay.
That's right.
Parliament unanimously passes new cannabis legislation amendments. On May 12, 2025, Malta's parliament unanimously passed amendments to its recreational cannabis law. The legislation clarifies the legal definition of cannabis, distinguishing between active and non-psychoactive cannabinoids. It strengthens the authority for responsible use of cannabis as the primary regulator, imposes stricter penalties for violations, and mandates a 250-meter buffer zone between cannabis associations and schools or youth centers. Offenses by association will now be tried in a court of magistrates rather than by the Commissioner of Justice. Police would accept decriminalization for medical marijuana if experts receive benefits. Latavia's state police indicated that it would accept decriminalization medical marijuana if experts confirms its benefits and is prescribed by doctors. While generally opposing cannabis decriminalization due to safety concerns, they acknowledge that psychotropic substances are used in medicine under strict control. The Progressive Party advocates for legalizing medical cannabis in forms like capsules and extracts, arguing current prohibition force patients to seek unregulated alternatives, potentially leading to misuse and harm. How do the U.S. and Canadian markets for pre-rolls Marijuana products differ. How long have I been talking about pre-rolls?
Mm-hmm.
How long have I said that people can make a lot of money at them? And now it's all coming. The U.S. and Canadian pre-roll cannabis market differ notably. In 2024, the U.S. sold 324.5 million pre-roll units. Dang. Generating $4.1 billion, while pre-rolls comprising 16% of the market. Canada sold 68.7 million units, with pre-rolls making up 32% of the states. Notably, pre-rolls briefly surpassed flower as cannabis' top-selling product, while the U.S. flower maintains a dominant 41% of the market share. Jared Shaw, Dallas native and basketball player in Indonesia, could face death penalty over cannabis candy. Jared Dwayne Shaw, a 34-year-old basketball player from Dallas, was arrested in Indonesia on May 7th after authorities seized 132 cannabis-infused candies from his apartment near Jakarta. The arrest followed a tip about a suspicious package from Thailand, where cannabis is decriminalized. Shaw claimed the candies were intended for teammates. Under Indonesia's strict drug laws, he faces potential life imprisonment or the death penalty. Following his arrest, Shaw was terminated by his team and banned from the Indonesian Basketball League.
Well, they just left him high and dry.
Oh, man. Mr. Shaw.
That's sad.
Hopefully, people listening to the show can contact their local senator from Dallas, Texas, and contact your state reps to contact our higher ups, people in the White House, people over in the state capitol over there, your senators, and call the Indonesian government and get this man out, like we did with people in Russia. Do some kind of trade, something. This man, Jared Dwayne Shaw, a 34-year-old basketball player from Dallas, does not deserve a life sentence for a plant and does not deserve the death penalty for a plant. I understand he broke the laws. Okay? I get it. But he does not deserve this. Somebody help bring this human home. And Indonesia, if anybody's listening, just fucking send him back here. We'll give him a spanking. We'll slap his hand a little bit. Don't you do that again, Mr. Shaw. Now get back to Dallas and play some basketball and smoke some weed.
Because NBA can have.
Yes, but I don't know if he was good enough to play in the NBA.
Oh,
so that's why he was in Indonesia, paying in a good basketball system, but not the NBA.
Yeah.
Ukraine launches its largest industrial hemp processing plant. Ukraine's Maharaja Hemp Company has launched the nation's largest industrial hemp processing plant, expanding cultivation from 890 hectares in 2024 to 1,200 hectares in 2025. The initiative aims to bolster Ukraine's hemp industry, promoting sustainable agriculture and economic growth. We will win sooner or later. Legalized Cannabis Party has high hopes after surprise election results. The Legalized Cannabis Party experienced a significant surge in support during the 2025 Australian federal election. I wonder if our friend Tez voted for them. Receiving over 164,000 first preference votes in the House of Representatives, a nearly 30-fold increase from 2022. While they did not secure any seats, the party garnered nearly 448,000 Senate votes. Hell yeah, indicating growing appeal, particularly in regional and outer suburban areas. Their platform focuses on cannabis legalization and critiques of big pharmaceutical influences. Tez, the Legalized Cannabis Party, brother, and Reefer Terps in Australia. And to all our Australia listeners out there, man, get this shit done. Terpenes and trails. Not terps and titties. Terpenes and trails. A cannabis road trip along historic Route 86, which we're
Route 66.
Route 66.
Big difference.
Yes, Route 66.
I don't know if there is an 86.
No, or 69. Route 66.
Route 60. Get your kicks on Route 66.
There you go. And that starts where? Here, right?
It starts in Chicago. So we drive it all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Yep. And if you haven't done, I know somebody that's done that ride all across the country it's
supposed to be great.
It's phenomenal. So, but tell us about the terpenes and trails, and will they see terps and titties on the trail?
From neon lit motels to terpene rich dispensaries, celebrate the 100th year of Route 66 with a travel worthy cannabis experience at every stop. Why Route 66? Why now? Well, in 2026, Route 66 turns 100, a century of roadside diners, neon signs, and Americana charm. This iconic stretch from Chicago to Santa Monica, California, continues to inspire travelers with its nostalgia and regional character. And now, with adult use cannabis legal in many of the states it traverses, the opportunity to explore the road through a new, sensory-rich lens is here. This curated itinerary uses cannabis as a companion to enhance connection with local culture, nature, and cuisine. At each stop, travelers are introduced to a featured effect pairing, a way to match cannabis terpene profiles, aromas, and effects with local experiences for more mindful, intentional, and memorable travel. Effect pairing is the art of using cannabis to enhance different travel experiences through the effects and terpene-driven qualities of different cannabis varieties. Floral-smelling cultivars are often known for calming, introspective effects, ideal for art museums, cultural experiences. Gasoline or fuel-scented cultivars have a reputation for stimulating appetite and intensifying taste, perfect for food-focused adventures. Many associate citrus-forward cultivars with energizing and uplifting sensations, great for nature walks and outdoor experiences. Chicago is a city of bold contrasts, architectural wonders, culinary innovation, and world-class arts. Near the official starting point of the historic Route 66 in the South Loop, you'll find Prairie Cannabis, a colorful and stylish but down-to-earth shop rooted in the spirit of Midwestern culture and community.
Just opened, by the way.
Yep. Another nearby option is Grasshopper Club, a classy joint known for its personalized service and as a Black-owned business with a mission rooted in heritage and legacy. Snap a photo at the historic Route 66 Begin sign and catch the mesmerizing riverfront projections at Art on the Mart, visible Thursday through Sunday evenings. For a local bite, deep dish pizza from Lou Malnati's. Effect pairing, floral. So the suggestion is a floral strain, or terpene floral, right? Next, St. Louis, Missouri. The Mississippi River City blends...
The Old Miss.
The Old Miss. Blends big city flair with historical pride. Proper Cannabis delivers a well-designed, experience-forward retail environment with a focus on locally sourced cannabis. Worth checking out is the the appropriately named Route 66 Cannabis Shop, with easy-to-access locations in South Grand and Dogtown, offering a customer-centric approach. The Chain of Rocks Bridge offers a unique bend and striking views. Don't leave town without tasting the city's signature dish, toasted ravioli.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a great little Italian neighborhood.
Yep.
And that's a big thing there. A great spot, Pappy's Smokehouse, renowned for slow smoked ribs. Effect pairing suggestion is a gasoline strain. Albuquerque, New Mexico. This sun-drenched city is known for its vibrant culture and enchanting desert. Everest Cannabis Company delivers an easygoing vibe and a reliable lineup of New Mexico-grown flower, with several locations Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and beyond. Also, try the Santa Fe dispensary, owned by the Picuris Pueblo tribe and honoring nature's medicine. Explore the quirky and vibrant Nob Hill, where vintage neon still flickers above mid-century storefronts, and you won't regret making time for a day trip to Meow Wolf Santa Fe, an indescribable, psychedelic, immersive art experience like no other. Try a breakfast burrito, too, with green chilies while you're there. I totally agree. Effect pairing, floral and citrus. Williams, Arizona. Nestled among the pines, Williams is a charming town and gateway to the Grand Canyon. Story Cannabis is located right along Route 66, and this cozy and charming shop is a great stop for provisions on your journey. Ride the Grand Canyon Railway into one of the world's most awe-inspiring landscapes, and be sure to stop for a pensive view of this breathtaking natural treasure. Back in town, don't miss a stop at Arizona Wildlife Park, where you can drive through forested habitats full of native animals. Grab a burger from Cruiser's Cafe 66 for the full roadside experience. Effect pairing, citrus. Yeah, that would be good for that.
Mm-hmm.
Flagstaff, Arizona. Flagstaff's cool mountain air, lively downtown, and access to the San Francisco peaks made it an ideal high elevation pause. Ponderosa is an excellent local dispensary option with deli-style service and deep local roots. Jars Cannabis keeps it friendly and straightforward too, with a good range of products and several locations to choose from. Wander historic downtown for retro cafes and record shops, or head into the wilds of Sunset Crater Volcano National Monument for otherworldly volcanic terrain. Don't miss the Navajo tacos from local food trucks. Effect pairing, citrus. Yeah. Needles, California, right on the Colorado River. Needles is a desert town with old school Western flair along the California border. Kush on 66 is a small but inviting dispensary and lounge with knowledgeable staff and a homegrown feel. Or the Healing Center offers a great selection as well. Historic downtown Needles has murals and roadside charm, while the Havasu National Wildlife Refuge offers a peaceful escape among wetlands and waterfowl. Fuel up with a classic diner breakfast before continuing west. Effect pairing, citrus. So citrus in the deserts.
Mm-hmm.
Barstow, California. Barstow is a desert hub where the old and new collide. Pick up provisions at the locally owned Quality Life Dispensary in Barstow, or visit Captain Jack's in nearby San Bernardino, a large and bustling dispensary with something for everyone. Take a walk through the Route 66 Mother Road Museum and then head to Calico Ghost Town for a slice of silver mining history. Barstow's famous green chili burritos at Los Domingos are worth a stop. Effect pairing suggestion is citrus and floral. And Santa Monica, California. The final stretch of Route 66 brings you to the Pacific, near the bustling Los Angeles streets and SoCal beaches seeped in sun. The Woods in nearby West Hollywood, co-founded by actor Woody Harrelson, elevates cannabis retail with its eco-conscious, design-forward approach and lush greenery. Be sure to enjoy the lounge and cafe out in the gorgeous back courtyard space, and there are many more great lounges and shops in the area to explore. At the end of the trail sign on the Santa Monica Pier, you'll feel the weight of the journey settle. Whether it's sushi at Sugarfish or tacos from nearby Venice, food never tastes more satisfying. Finish your night with a beach walk at sunset. Effect pairing, gasoline. This is Route 66 reimagined through scent, sensation, and story. Route 66 is more than a drive. It's a multi-sensory road trip rooted in American nostalgia and fueled by the plant's power to elevate, connect, and reflect. Cannabis isn't the story, it's the lens. Through effect pairings and hyper-local experiences, each destination becomes a chapter in a bigger story of freedom, exploration, and mindful travel. If you're ready to light up your next road trip, literally and figuratively, this Route 66 itinerary is the perfect blend of history, cannabis culture, and unforgettable landscapes. To make it truly immersive, consider booking stays at some of the highway's most memorable and cannabis-friendly roadside lodgings. Try retro chic Blue Swallow Motel in Tucumcari, New Mexico, the mid-century Gem Wigwam Motel in Holbrook, Arizona, or the historic El Rancho Hotel in Gallup, New Mexico. Near the trail's end, unwind at the iconic The Georgian Hotel in Santa Monica for a final night of Pacific views and a coastal breeze. Book your cannabis-friendly road trip accommodations in advance, pack light, and plan with intention. Let the road inspire you, let the plant ground you, and let the journey be everything in between. Enjoy the ride, stay curious, stay safe, and savor every stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I had.
I want to go.
I want an RV.
We go.
I want an RV. I want an RV and do that trip.
Totally.
You know, that's the trip to doing an RV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you would have.
That'd be fun. And then you go down to like Baja, California.
Yes.
Or, Baja, and then go into Mexico.
Yes.
Mexican coast.
Yes, that would be amazing.
We could just keep going to Costa Rica and
See you
then never
later.
come back. Adios.
Amigos.
Amigos. Cha-cha.
Miss Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
That's the end of the show.
It is.
Got anything else to say?
I'm very elevated.
Sounds good.
Pain level has definitely decreased.
Yeah, you were.
Headache level definitely decreased.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, all good.
Nice. Happy Memorial Weekend, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. Have a great Memorial Weekend. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the weekend if you celebrate it. It's going to be a little cold here in Chicago for it. But if you're in the warm weather, you can get in a pool or go to the beach. Go have some fucking fun and enjoy life. We love you out there. Thanks for listening. As Paulie always says, smoke smart. Puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, puff.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.